Hello, welcome to the morning news. Our top stories in Peru, where unrest continues and more protests have been announced. The region of Arequipa declared a 48-hour strike in support of the residents of Tambo Valley against the Tia Maria mining project in Islay province. The region is now under martial law imposed last week by President Ollanta Humala. After 2 months of protest, at least 5 people have been killed.
I want to ask the government to stop this once and for all. We do not want more deaths. My brother, a young man, was full of life, cheerful. It's not possible he was murdered in this way.
The community believes the Tia Maria mining project will destroy the environment and poses a health hazard for a local population. The company leading the project, Grupo Mexico, has faced many legal issues in Mexico, Peru, and Spain due to massive irregularities and corruption. In Mexico, it is responsible for projects that cause ecological damages and for deaths in 2006 of 69 miners. The Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro revealed that his government is in talks with the White House. According to Maduro, special envoy of the Obama administration is currently in talks with Venezuelan officials in an effort to improve bilateral relations. But Venezuelan President warned that the right-wing opposition might try to sabotage these efforts. President Maduro also announced the opposition will be punished in the ballot box during the upcoming parliamentary elections. According to the head of state, the Venezuelan people will respond with rejection to the right-wing's electoral strategy. Venezuelan Foreign Minister Delcy Rodriguez met in Moscow with her Russian counterpart Sergei Lavrov. The foreign ministers were expected to ratify an energy alliance between both nations.
We appreciate the support from our Venezuelan allies, and the meetings we have held yesterday and today within the High-Level Commission will be of great benefit and will help advance our bilateral relations in all areas.
Large protests took place in Mexico City to demand justice for the Ayotzinapa forcibly disappeared students. Relatives of the missing students still express hope of finding their loved ones alive. The police tried to block the activists, supporters, and families from reaching Mexico City's main square, Zócalo. Protesters demanded justice for the families of the victims. They also called on the government to avoid impunity in this case and to speed up investigations to determine the whereabouts of the students. And in Colombia, analysts continue to express their concern regarding the end of a unilateral ceasefire declared by the FARC guerrilla last year. For more, we go to Natalia Margarita.
In 2011, when Colombian peace negotiations were not yet a reality, an average of 179 military actions between the army and the FARC rebels were taking place every month, as according to NGO Peace and Reconciliation. Now this number falls sharply during the unilateral ceasefire that the FARC implemented for 5 months, in which just 91 military clashes took place, an equivalent to 18 per month, compared to the 179 in 2011.
The intensity of the conflict decreased in 90%. The data also shows that 602 lives of both guerrillas and security forces members were spared, and also some 14,000 forced displacements were prevented as a result of the unilateral ceasefire. Therefore, the gains were evident.
The intensification of the conflict comes in a moment when a relative relief was being felt in the rural regions, not just as a result of a 90% reduction of the FARC's operations in the last 5 months, but also due to previous truces implemented by the rebels in 2014.
There were 156 days of ceasefire in 2014, which meant a 40% reduction on the FARC military actions, and that also meant many lives spared, many displaced persons prevented, as well as the beginning of the de-escalation of the conflict.
In the wake of the suspension of the FARC's unilateral truce and the escalation of government airstrikes, rural leaders are clamoring more than ever for a bilateral ceasefire as they refuse to accept more victims in their territories.
The bombardments are back, so are the mortars that the army launches, regardless of where they land. That is what always happens. It's a very critical situation. We can just hope that this doesn't escalate any further, and that we don't have any more victims, nor from the army, neither from the guerrillas, even less from the civil society.
As the situation seems desperate in the war zones of Colombia, peace advocates keep on mobilizing, demanding from the government to agree on a bilateral ceasefire as the very only way to push forward the peace negotiations underway in Havana. Natalia Margarita, Telesur, Bogotá.
And now to our world news roundup that will begin in Spain. After Sunday's local elections, the left is closer to govern the capital of Madrid.
According to media reports, the Socialist Party, PSOE, will be officializing a coalition with the left-wing party Now Madrid. The announcement comes after the right-wing PP party tried to sabotage the coalition. The left-wing party Podemos, allied to Now Madrid, explained early last week that their aim is winning the general election.
Our goal is November, when, with great enthusiasm and the huge effort that it entails, we will take on the challenge of beating the Popular Party and winning the general election.
Israel bombed Gaza after Hamas fired a rocket at a city in the limits of the Strip. Despite media reports claim the rocket was not targeting Israelis but was part of the inner dispute between Palestinian factions. The Israeli defense minister said the population of Gaza will pay a high price if another rocket was fired. The rocket did not cause any damage or deaths. Israel's attack, however, seriously damaged an important source of fresh water for Gaza.
We were asleep, and then we got up for the early morning prayer. We heard something that shook the house. The children were all afraid, and I brought them all next to me.
The Court of Appeals ruled to uphold a federal judge's decision to block President Barack Obama immigration reforms that could potentially protect millions of undocumented immigrants from deportation. The court found that Obama's executive order on immigration likely broke the law on how policies are to be passed. This is the second major legal setback for the president, who was hoping to make overhauling immigration a second-term victory. A new death toll of over 1,100 has emerged in India, where record-high temperatures continue to sweep the country. In some regions, thermometer readings have near a blistering 122 degrees Fahrenheit or 50 degrees Celsius. Most of the victims of the heat wave sweeping across the country were elderly, homeless, or construction workers, forced to work outside even as temperatures climbed.
6 high-ranking soccer officials were arrested in Switzerland. Among those detained are 2 vice presidents of world governing body FIFA.
The FIFA detainees will be extradited to the United States. The officials arrested are accused of bribery, corruption, and money laundering. The FIFA president Sepp Blatter is not among those detained. Shortly after dawn, plainclothed police arrived to a luxury hotel in Zurich to carry out the arrests. They were expected to arrest 10 officials, but only 6 were present at the time of the arrests.
This morning I'm profoundly shocked as you are, as the whole world is, and above all, I'm deeply saddened by the image it gives of football.
FIFA is scheduled to hold a news conference shortly regarding the detentions. FIFA presidential candidate Prince Ali of Jordan, who has promised to clean up the organization, said today was a sad day for football.
More on these on our website, telesurtv.net/English. Thank you for watching and have a good day.